Welcome to another episode of Cwt TV. Get to know your hosts, Peter and Helen Yapel, as they are the New York State chapter coordinators of the Human Solution International, where we believe no one should go to jail for a plan. Peter and Helen are ministers, living the changes they wish to see in the world. Peter is a patient that learned the science behind the cannabis plant as he healed. Helen supported and cared for him by learning the medicinal values of foods, and now their allegiance is to the plant. Currently, they teach. They spread the knowledge that they've acquired through all social media, radio, and now through TV. So sit back and learn how to simplify and live a canna lifestyle.
Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk, where we live the changes we wish to see in the world.
Yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us here each week, where we try to entertain you and we try to educate you and teach you to learn to live a canna lifestyle. And you would think I would know how to talk that because I live it every day.
I think his tongue just twisted it in a knot.
Listen, it's been one of those days again for us, just where happiness,
One of those days,
good
it's
stuff.
been one of those weeks. It's crazy.
Right, it's just life anymore. It's really, every time we think we're faced with a challenge, we get amazed.
Every time
by
we're
the
faced with a
positive.
challenge, Peach stresses to the point of no return.
Well, it's very
Right?
true. I do stress to the point of no return. But I always, at the end of the day, know that if I continue to live my life in the positive fashion that I keep living it in, keep doing and servicing rather than expecting, I know it'll work out in the end. And of course, this week.
See, Peter and I have been with all the other stuff that we do, we have been in the process of moving. So we have been searching for a home in the midst of producing this show, our radio show, our CBD business, the 501c3, and the project of empowering Port Jervis. So he has been stressing, I guess, rightfully so. But
there's no reason to stress anymore. We found a place.
That's
to
right.
live.
We found a place.
Yeah, I've got a beautiful.
We found a place with a compost toilet, and I'm so happy.
I've got a place that I actually can finally be comfortable in because it's 4 acres. No one lives anywhere around the area whatsoever. I could run around with chickens in my yard naked, like I like to do anyway. So I mean, I'm out in the woods. I've got a very simple place to live. That's got a loft bedroom over top of an open floor plan underneath. It is the perfect. I got a stream in my backyard. I've got 4 acres of property to run around on. Let me tell you what, life is finally,
Nice babbling brook going into a pond in the back. That's going to be awesome to sleep to. I can't wait.
But again, it's just it's not. I believe it's only because of what we put out. Like it wouldn't come my way if not. We met some women's are incredible ladies, so Reiki masters.
Yeah. Well,
again,
she went on her intuition and her vibe, and she just meshed with us. And I knew it. I felt it right away, and I told you, like, there was other people. It was an open house, and so there was other people that were coming in and out. So I said to Pete, I said, we're going to be the first ones there, and we were. and she loved us right from the second that.
The beautiful thing about it is
that
it all culminated and came to be yesterday, which is, the end of the week. Saturday is the last day of the week.
Yeah.
We met some great people. We sat through an art class. We bought a piece of art. Then we ate and broke bread with the same people. Listen, our time at Empowering Port Jervis and our time here on the Port Jervis Project is every single day making me smile because we know things are going in the right direction.
They are. Well, you know that we're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and that just makes all the difference in the world. And
the people that are coming together now, though, are just like
well,
us.
Well, come on, we're the pawns. God's doing His work. I mean, He's just putting people in the right places because we're supposed to meet. Because we're changing things
in a positive way.
Yes, and there's certain people that can do that. So He's making sure that we're all in the same atmosphere so that we can get that done. And I think that that's just beautiful.
But in doing so, now we're going. We're proposing, as we keep telling everyone, we're going to do murals throughout each ward here in Port Jervis, north, south, east, and west, and pick this ward here for the first one because we have the building here, and it's a perfect palette. Sits the huge flagpole sits here in Port Jervis. Sits right at the back corner of this building. So you'll have this beautiful mural with the flag just flying. I mean, I'm so excited about this. We spoke with Hani this week, yesterday, finally in person, after communicating with him via email and text and such. So it was great to finally have face-to-face and shake his hand and know that the project's going to move forward, And again, met other people that'll get involved.
Yeah, Dawn Marie is one of them, and we bought her painting from Empowering Port Jervis yesterday, and why am I tongue twisting on that? That's your word. You
look
screw
at
up
me
all
and
the
I
time.
confuse you because of my hand size.
It must be. But
I'm so good looking you couldn't talk.
Another art class, Empowering Port Jervis, is offering, and Dawn Marie is amazing at what she does. My God, and to hear her story. But she's going to be a future guest, so you're going to hear her story. So I'm not going to spoil it.
But it's just about meeting people again. And we were talking with a guest on another segment, and when we were talking with Joseph, he brought up Annie. And Annie at Empowering Port Jervis, if you don't know this woman,
she's
you're
somebody
missing
you need
out on
to know.
something
Absolutely.
in life.
Yeah, because she's a pure soul, and they are few and far between. She's not all mucked up, with crap, and she's pure, even with all the stuff she has to live around. She's still pure.
The program is old. Listen, the program has grown and shrunk and grown and shrunk, from what I understand. But I want to make this where everybody knows that they have a place, even for suggestion.
It's happening, man. It is.
I
It's
know it
happening,
is.
and we're seeing it happen. Look, the one thing that I had said when we first started at Empowering Port Jervis was it was very hard for me to see the anticipation of us not coming back. Like, we're not going to follow through. And it's, you can see that anticipation on their faces. Like, yeah, another one here to say that they're going to do, and they're going to go. And that's, and it stinks. But you can see now that that's changing. And they feel that we're going to be there. We're going to stick it out. And that's why all these other people, that are going to be powerful in all of these changes are being put right in our atmosphere.
I'll stay there as long as I'm allowed to. I'll never leave the people because that's why I'm here. I'm not here for any other reason.
But let me tell you, as good and as beautiful as Annie is, she's tired.
Oh, please, she's one person.
She's tired because she's
one human
person.
being. She works. She's got a handicapped daughter. She does it. Come on.
She does.
She
does. So when you hear somebody complaining and you think and you know somebody like Annie and all that she does, she's an amazing woman. She really is.
The 28th of this month, we're going to be going to Massachusetts. We've been asked to go and teach an educational class to a CBD company that has asked for our services. So we're going to be going there the 28th. What's the date? June what? The dinner's at Sorella.
Oh, June 13th.
June 13th. And
Sorella Pizzeria.
Every month thereafter, we were going to be doing CBD dinners. We're going to offer a dinner and a CBD educational class where we'll have product available, obviously.
You'll have CBD infused coffee will be offered to you, and dessert.
Right, and CBD salt.
And along with your dinner will come an education.
Not everybody's food will be infused. It's not what it's about.
No.
It's about choice, and we'll give people choice. But then again, too, at the other end of the spectrum is you will get the education. You'll get the class as well as a meal. And they were offering it for $30, was it? Yeah, $30 a meal.
$30 a meal.
$30 a meal. And there's jazz musicians that play there. I got two guys that play at the restaurant. They're going to be playing there. There'll be
education, entertainment, food for $30 a person,
food
beverages.
And soft drinks. So, we're doing soft drinks. There is a bar. You can purchase alcohol if you'd like. But please tip the barmaid. That's the way we look at it. No, seriously. I mean, they're there offering a service. Same thing with the musicians. Tip the musicians. Musicians, you people have no idea how often musicians play for nothing.
Yes.
They play for nothing because they love to play music.
Yep.
So appreciate what they give you and give it back.
That's right.
And we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back.
All right.
All right. Hey everybody, Pete Yapel, Can We Talk CBDs, representing the best product on the planet, Willow Creek Springs. Today I'm going to introduce you to a topical rub for intense pain. This is a heated rub, but it's a nano formula. Let me explain a little bit of a difference. Nano CBDs are broken down particles by sound to make them so small that they penetrate cell membrane. This is giving you immediate effect and immediate relief. So when your muscles, your joints, or anything are hurting, run out and get yourself a nano product from Willow Creek Springs. We'd be more than happy to help you if you visit us on our website at www.canoetalk42small.com and look us up. Guys, Willow Creek Springs, the best products on the market.
Welcome back to Can We Talk?
Hey everybody. Listen, we have so much fun on the breaks. You guys just have no idea.
I'm just always confused.
Well, it's called modern day production. You just do it as you go,
called?
you know? Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like crop dusting. And we'll explain that at a later day. But listen, we got a great show tonight that you guys are going to see.
We do.
And but before we introduce our next guest, I do have to say that the crowd we got here tonight, I'm very happy.
Oh, me too.
Great studio audience here tonight.
Yes,
Y'all
we do.
can't see them right now,
Yes,
but
we do.
y'all could give yourself a round of applause.
Thank
We
you for
appreciate it
coming.
right now. And of course,
And even Lily's clapping.
Well, Lily's been barking. You don't hear
Barking,
Lily bark
clapping.
throughout the whole show
Sorry,
anyway.
Elise.
But no, we do appreciate when people come
Yes,
out.
we do.
this, and
We do.
and
Thank you
again,
very much.
please, everybody, as we say to you every week, if you've got any suggestions or you want to be a guest, please visit us, canoetalk420.com. Go to our guest link. I mean, and again, the tickets are free. There's no
Yeah, the
charge
tickets are
coming
free.
here.
All you
But
do
we
is-
have a link if you want to go
Yeah.
free tickets. That way we know how many chairs
Send
to
us
accommodate for
your
people.
contact info.
Right, sounds
That's
great.
all.
Okay, well, let's take a quick break. Why don't you introduce who's going to be coming up when we come back
We
from the break?
have CEO of Affinity Bio Parts, and her name is Christina D'Arcangelo Puller.
Yeah, she's
And
the
I
CEO
met her-
of Affinity Biotech, and
Right.
she's got the Cannabot. She's got a
And-
lot of stuff.
Right, and she's a patient advocate
Oh,
as well,
absolutely.
which is her nonprofit, which is also Affinity. So she's got it. She's like us with Can We Talk. She's she's got a brand, and she umbrellas a couple different businesses.
Great.
That.
We had a great pre-interview with her, and I can't wait to have her on. So when we come
Oh,
back,
yeah.
we'll have Christina on, guys, and hope you enjoy the interview. Hey everybody, Pete Yapel, and a segment we like to call Pissed Off Pete. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about which I believe is probably one of the worst things a doctor could possibly do, and that's ignore good information. Because we associate ourselves with a plant that's still bastardized by most of society, because they don't have the education and understand the value, we have all these troubles. But when people have cancer or other terrible illnesses where the cannabis plant and the cannabinoid THC are vital in their rehabilitation, but they don't have the ability to use it freely without any fear of persecution, or losing, every dime that they've saved because of the inflated prices. But there are some people that do take those risks, and there are some people that do care more about their life than worrying about, the punishment that might come from it. There are organizations out there that will protect you, mine especially, Solidarity Over Separation, where we believe nobody should be in jail for a plant. The Human Solution International was built for that. But the reason why I get mad is when people take it upon themselves to treat with this plant, a plant that, again, has never killed anyone, never. There's never been a death by cannabis. Never. It can't happen. The plant does not contain the physiology to do that to you. It doesn't suppress your breathing. You can't. That's how we die from overdoses, suppression of breathing. Don't let anybody tell you any different. The plant can't do that to you. So you can ingest as much cannabis as you want. But we still have a problem with it. So then people go out, risk their time, risk their lives, risk everything just to treat with a plant that can grow in anybody's backyard. And we make it available to them at times. There are people all over the industry that can make this plant available to them. And they do. And people take those risks. But what makes me mad about it is this. When they choose this form of treatment and they go to their doctor, and their doctor says to them, well, I don't know what you're doing, but don't stop it. And that's where the conversation ends. That's where I got the problem. You're a medical professional. You take an oath to do no harm and to save people. You're just supposed to be a healthcare provider. You're supposed to provide people with the best health they can without damaging them. You believe in shooting Agent Orange and radiation into people, blasting tumorous and cancerous cells throughout the body, getting into the lymphatic system and spreading throughout the body. Yes, you may kill it in the spot you got, but you spread it everywhere else. But then when doctors realize how important, how the success of using FECOs, RSOs, all of these oils that are available through the cannabis plant, but don't ask the patient, how are you doing it? Can I document this? Can I start to write a paper that may save countless lives that die because we live in a convoluted system of people that live there with nothing but greed? Have you ever looked at a chemo bill? Well, if you have, you'll understand why they don't want you treating with cannabis. Because they're going to eliminate at least 3 zeros. 3 zeros! Do you want to be sick and then lose everything you have? Not only you, but everybody that follows you that's going to be responsible for your bills. Or would you rather be able to just grow a plant in your backyard and have a healthy life? Doctors, pull your heads out of your rear ends and let's start getting involved. If you know there's success from this plant, if you know people are saving their lives, please start to document, please start to gather information, and please start to help. That's why I'm pissed off. And I'll see you next week, because you know somebody's going to make me mad.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are here this evening with Christina. I'm not going to butcher your name. D'Arcangelo Puller.
That was very good.
It?
That was very good. High five. Just remember the archangel. D'Arcangelo means the archangel.
Okay.
So it's easier when you
couldn't
see
tell me
it
that
that way.
before?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, you know
Reading
what?
is fundamental. I will
Yes.
And I wrote it.
Well, you know what? I always say to people when I come on shows or when I'm speaking or testifying for cannabis patients, I always say, you're always going to remember my name because it's not a Jones or a Smith.
That's right.
D'Arcangelo Puller is not an everyday name.
No, not at all.
Now, the Puller obviously is your married name.
That's my married name.
But the D'Arcangelo, that had to be a mess on one of those bubble graphs.
She's
and
an
stuff.
And my first name being Christina, I was always Christ
No,
when I did my SATs, you know?
So now she's the Christ Archangel, and we are
Yes,
glad
yes.
we have her on our show.
Yes, but she is the CEO of Affinity, and she has, it's a brand. You have
Yes.
3 different companies that
Yes.
you're heading up.
Yes,
Tell us.
thank
Tell
you
us
so
all
much.
about them.
Well, first off, I want to thank you both for having me on the show today, or tonight, I should say. I love the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing. You
Thank
have
you.
your hands
Thank
in
you.
multiple pots.
do.
But number one, you're an advocate.
Yes.
And you're trying to help patients.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And also what I love about you is that you're medical focus.
Yes.
Which is where we are
Yes,
too.
yes.
And it's so nice to be able to link arms
Yes.
with people that are similar rather than trying to like kind of beat around, and here in this case, the tree, you know, where they're really rec focused.
Yeah.
And they're not so much medicinal once you talk to them.
Right.
Well, people don't understand truly, and I'm not amazed by it because of how sheltered the plant's been for 100 years
Yes.
now. How vast this industry truly is.
Right.
This industry incorporates everything in society that burgers do.
Right.
And people don't understand
Right.
that. So it's great to see companies like yours.
Oh,
Yes.
thank
You
you.
know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much.
Because the more, I believe personally, the more, first off, women in the movement, the better. Women are mothers. People listen to mothers. Mothers have more.
We're
you guys are more
caregivers.
nurtured.
We're nurtured.
Right,
Right.
you're nurtured. We're more
Right.
forceful. We're the charismatic whatevers. You know, that doesn't do it in this industry. And it doesn't do it in a lot of industries.
Right.
But I believe because of 100 years of bastardization that we need the calm of a woman.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that because, we'll talk tonight a little bit, hopefully, about being a woman, no offense.
No, it's okay.
In cannabis, working as a profession. And I will also bring up our upcoming event on July 13th in Philadelphia that we're going to be inviting you to.
I can't wait.
And you can come too, even though you're not a woman. But it's going to
got
be
the
called. Your hair is very curly, just like mine today.
And long.
It's so nice. It's going to be called the City of Sisterly Love, because in Philadelphia it's the City of Brotherly Love.
Yes.
We purposely changed it to Sisterly Love
Love it.
because
I
we want
love
to
it.
embrace women of cannabis and the professionals that are out there working, trying to make a difference.
Yes.
Because there's so many people that are working very hard to make a difference, to help patients.
That's for sure.
They're working on several brands. And
Yeah.
the awesome thing about this is, you guys know from my bio, I'm a bi-coastal person. So I've worked a very long time on the West Coast. I have an office in the West Coast. I've kept, and I go back and forth between the coasts. So some of my colleagues are coming in from the West Coast to our East Coast event.
Fantastic.
Which is
Awesome.
huge for
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
It is.
We know some incredible women in this industry, and I will lend you some names
That's
before we leave because I
fantastic.
know
Yes.
you'll be very
Thank you
happy
so
to have
much.
them.
I
And,
appreciate that.
And I know they'll be happy because
Absolutely.
it is important.
Hey,
It's
that's
very
what it's about. I mean,
Right.
that's what's going to keep this industry right.
And
Are
thriving.
people like us and the connections that we're
Right.
making in between
Right.
all of us. It's so important
Right.
that we keep this momentum.
Right.
Really.
It really is. And
Would you do everybody a favor because everybody
Sure.
now knows that you're truly cannabis.
Okay.
pro. What did you do prior to
Sure,
this?
sure.
How did you get to
This is so crazy. This is a crazy story.
I love it.
So I have been a biotech pharmaceutical CRO executive now. So please don't throw anything at me. The crowd, don't throw Rotten Tomatoes. I understand, there's unjust things that happen in that industry. I'm not going to bash it tonight because that's where I came from. And if I
Right,
didn't
No.
do what I've done over the years, I wouldn't have brought that level of expertise in the cannabis industry as it relates to clinical research.
Right.
So that's where I really came from. I came from biotech pharma. I had a clinical research organization. That's Affinity Biopartners.
Okay.
And it was traditionally focused. And then 3 years ago, I had a grower contact me from Oregon because it's just so interesting. It was because of my nonprofit, Affinity Patient Advocacy,
Good.
which is an
Okay.
advocacy firm that advocates for patients at no cost.
Right.
So we will help people if they don't have hospice options. We will help people with if they want to get into a clinical study. How does that happen? What does consent forms look like? What are the questions you should ask? If they have multiple physicians that they need help, like with a conduit that's going to be able to talk to all
Right.
of them to make sure
Right.
the drug-drugging interactions aren't happening. That's what we do. And there's other things that we do within that organization.
Awesome.
But I started it because of my dad's death of cancer in
Okay.
2015.
Okay.
So he, at 62, was diagnosed with stage 4 liver, lung, and stomach cancers. And he was my main guy. That was I feel that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be who I am as a
Right,
person.
yeah.
He was my foundation layer,
Right.
right?
Right.
And he was a Pennsylvania turnpike worker. He was a Teamster. And so if you look at my pin,
Yes, yes.
I have 2 pins. The top pin is my dad's local.
Uh-huh.
And then the bottom pin is the Teamsters Cannabis Division.
Wow.
They will be there in Philadelphia.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
So you'll get
That's
to meet
beautiful.
Great.
Kristen. We've had a relationship pretty much since I jumped into this. They figured out who I was because of D'Arcangelo, right? And they knew my dad was a brother, and they knew my dad had passed, and so it was just an automatic synergy. So we do
Wow.
all kinds of awesome things together, and
That's
Hoffa
great.
Jr. knows about my companies
Wow.
thanks to Kristen.
Wow.
Right.
And this is strange for the biotech pharma people, because
Right.
when we go to events together and we're with colleagues of mine from the traditional side, they kind of raise their eyebrows, like, the Teamsters? What are you doing with
Yeah,
the Teamsters?
right,
They
yeah.
don't understand it. And I'm like, look.
Listen, it is so difficult to get, just so difficult in business, as we were talking earlier, you know. People jump in and they think in 10 minutes they're going to be rich.
It's the green rush.
Right, exactly. And it's not that. I mean, you know, we know people have been in 30 years that are, really
That's
finally
right.
making a difference. And and a lot of it has to do with money. And a lot of it has to do where you can get your money. You can't just go to the bank and take a
Right.
cannabis
Right.
loan out.
Right.
You know, it's very difficult. So I applaud you for,
Thank
you
you.
know what I mean,
As
for
far,
being so
yeah,
steadfast.
and this is it. Once she stepped her foot into this industry, that's where she stayed.
We
Yes.
can't leave it. Listen,
Purposely.
yes.
I cannot leave. I can and never will leave the industry. Can't.
No.
The plant saved my life. What
That's
kind of
for
human
sure.
would I be?
Right.
You know what I mean? And
The bottom line is once you understand what the plant actually does and you understand human physiology, and I say it all the time, then it's a no-brainer.
Right.
You can't help but follow this path
Right.
because it's right.
Right. Right.
And Helen's been, you know, because we've taken on the city of Port Jervis here, the Port Jervis project, and we stay over at Empowering Port Jervis a lot because that's where people can come and commune.
That's
Right.
right.
And we
That's
got
where
a
they
place there. And
congregate
Helen's
and-
been treating people like, for the last, week and a half, we've been just medicating people.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
Yeah,
first
free,
of all, it's
helping
illegal.
them.
They can't
You know,
say
they
anything
can't
to me.
afford it.
These,
No, that's
You
so
know,
fantastic.
we have children. There was one is definitely on the autism
Spectrum.
Yes, yes.
and another one is definitely ADHD. Which
And
of
they're
course the school's wanting to push and medicate and
and then we give their parents some medicine. They can
Yeah,
take
and
it
they
home
can-
do
and
what
the
they want.
difference that
and the
they're
kids, they're saying the kids are,
And I'm
their
sure
schools notice.
You talk to them about dieting, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because
no
it's
sugar.
not just
No.
It's not
Uh,
just
we
we were
are-
talking about this
we
earlier.
are-
You
we-
can't just
we
take
are
CBD
Mind,
and go, oh,
body, spirit.
that's
Mind,
perfect.
body, spirit. That's what
exactly
we are.
what
It's
we were
on
talking
our
That's
about.
what
logos.
we,
It's on everything.
and we are about the canna life,
Right.
Which it is a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
lifestyle.
thing.
Homeostasis means good health, but in order to be in homeostasis, the mind, the body, and the spirit have to be
connected.
one.
Right.
Right.
So that's homeostasis,
Right.
and if you don't want to be sick or you don't want to age quicker,
Right.
that's what you want to go for.
we stress that to people because obviously the company name Can We Talk,
Right.
they see it and there's a pot leaf with a heartbeat on the side of my
Right.
car, but it all makes sense when you listen.
Right.
We aren't talking about going out and smoking pot
No.
on the street
It's
corner.
not. It's Can
We're
We
talk-
Talk 420, like
Right.
water.
Like water.
Right.
Not 420.
That's why
Not
we named it
420.
that.
No, the
Right.
cannabis
cop
part
code.
is in Can We
Yeah.
Talk.
It gets
I don't
good.
need it in
Awesome.
the 420.
Yeah.
It was organic. You know what I mean? And that's
That's
us as well.
awesome. That's so clever. I wouldn't even have thought
Yeah,
about
and
that.
that's why it's like that.
That's so awesome.
Because we represent an organic way of life
Life,
that
right.
includes cannabis.
Right.
Meditation,
But it's, we-
spirituality,
yes.
foods you eat.
We
and-
believe in
and-
walking around
and
barefoot
cannabis.
because
Yes.
earthing is so damn healthy.
Well, we were,
we believe
were
in
talking
things
this,
like that.
this afternoon when I first came into town about the fact that I'm a fibromyalgia. I also have Hashimoto.
Yeah.
All of this happened last year.
Yeah.
I think the Hashimoto happened because of my dad's death, because that rocked me pretty hardcore.
Right, yep, yep.
course.
And I had symptoms. I was symptomatic before 2018, and I was trying to figure out what it was because I'm a clinical research person.
Right,
so I'm
right.
watching. I'm trying to figure out what is this?
What's
Why is
going
this
on?
happening?
Yeah.
Right.
And again, I didn't pick up the phone to the doctor and say, okay, put me on this, put me on that. I've done some research. No, I forced them to do multiple panels of blood tests. I told them exactly what I wanted to check for because I'm predisposed for cancer.
Right.
Because my dad had so much of it. My grandmother had it. It's on
thing
both
you're-
sides of my family.
Wow.
So do I have cancer? I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's figure this out,
Yeah.
And so when I figured out that it was the Hashi, then it was like, okay, we have to treat it. So I started taking CBD because I knew that CBD helped with auto-inflammatory responses because I've been researching everything and paying attention. And the point is that later today or this morning, I had a flare-up and my legs were killing me. It was
Right.
like somebody beat my legs with a baseball
Right,
bat.
right.
It was pretty substantial. So instead of, again, dosing myself again with my morning meds, I said, okay, I'm just going to lay still. I luckily could map it into my schedule because my first call for Cannabot, which we'll talk about that,
Yeah.
wasn't until 10 o'clock. So I had some time, and I just laid there, relaxed myself, meditated, listened to
So
ocean
important,
waves.
yep.
you
So
go.
important.
There you go.
And I thought of a business idea while, like, for my tech
course.
company
Yeah.
while I was still and quiet.
Yes.
course.
I mean, I even put the dogs downstairs because I just needed that me time, and I was able to get myself up, get on the call, get myself suited up, shout, everything.
You know, and that me time is so important.
Right.
It's
you know, and
absence.
I think none of none of us
It's absence
realize
in the It's
how
absence
important
in
it
the
is.
presence. It's
Right.
truly what present is
Yeah.
what it actually is. You can be absent in the environment you're in, but you're present as can be finally with
Well,
yourself.
I think that
Right.
that's
And
when
that's
you
where
can
that's
utilize that third eye and see things from a
course.
different perspective.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the whole point. You know, and
Yeah,
I
because
think
we all run around and crazy.
Well, we stepped
Oh,
away
we can
from
do
it.
this, or we can do that, or we can.
Yes, and
but when
because
you
of the-
literally relax and
That's
like
right.
you're saying, you think it through.
people
Right.
get into a habit of just a regimen of life that they are constant. It's a rut. Really,
Right.
it's a rut, and
Well, I
then
mean,
they don't.
let's talk about the weather. Our weather has been terrible. Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, which
Yeah.
is the Tri-County.
Yeah, I just said
It's
that. I went
no
for a
wonder.
beautiful walk this morning, and then come up here to this.
It's freezing, it's
Yep.
raining. I mean,
Wind
and that
was
Look at the
pushing our
rivers. The
car
rivers are almost
overflowing.
Oh,
When I was
yeah.
driving here, I'm like,
I
this is
know.
terrible. So it's no wonder people are depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I get depressed. I mean, I lived in California for 5 years, came back when my dad came out of remission in 2010. That's why I moved back.
Wow. Okay.
And, I took one for the team, so to speak,
Right.
left San Francisco, came back here, and I've been here since, and I gotta tell you,
yeah.
it's a pain,
Yeah.
I can't stand this,
Yeah.
this cold, it's just
I
terrible.
don't like it either.
People are
Well,
depressed.
I know.
Well, this is what happens too. Is like Helen gets her blood work done, and they say, "Well, your vitamin D's low." Well, no
Well,
kidding. You've been
because
living
I
in a
can't go
basement for
outside.
6 months.
Yes.
Right.
You know what I mean? You hide in a
My
house for 6
Mediterranean
months.
blood is screaming
Right.
for some
Right.
sun.
Sun.
That's right. That's
I mean,
right.
even last summer.
I know.
Look how our summer was, raining. I mean,
Yeah.
it's depressing.
Well, we're
It
going to
is.
take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back with Christine, and believe me, Helen's got a ton more things that she wanted to talk to her about.
Yes, I do.
So we'll be back in just a few moments.
Pete Yapel, Cwt Talk CBDs, everybody, representing the best product on the planet, Willow Creek Springs. Listen, there's not a time in the day that every human being on this planet doesn't have inflammation ravaging through their body. And CBD treatment using cannabidiol is the only true effective way to reduce this inflammation. At Willow Creek Springs, we have many forms, but I carry with me a sublingual spray on a daily basis. It's 2 milligrams squirt under my tongue whenever I need the relief, whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, even a little bit stressed out. I can do the same thing. CBDs work in many ways. So reach out to us at Cwt Talk CBDs at 845-522-3162. Get yourself hooked up with the best product on the planet. And hey, if you've got a business, this is the stuff you need. We're compassionately priced so that everyone can afford it. Thanks again.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, and we're back here with Christina, and now we're going to talk about Cannabot. You're going to tell us about Cannabot?
Yes, I'm really excited about the Cannabot.
Me too.
So the Cannabot originally started because I have a chief technical officer who had a business relationship with our chief operating officer.
Okay.
He was working on a cardiovascular bot for
Okay.
people who have, just like yourselves, who had a heart attack and then they go home. And when they go home, what happens? You have a lot of anxiety, you worry, am I going to have another heart attack? What's going to happen to me? I mean, in your case, luckily, you had the option of CBD.
Right.
But in India, for example, and that's where he's from, that's not
That-
an option.
that's not an option.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
so we originally started working on this cardio bot. And then as we were working through it, because they're healthcare guys, my COO and my CTO, I'm the biotech pharma patient side of things, where we actually design studies for patients.
Okay.
Plus the advocacy firm, right, where we're helping patients all the time. It's me talking to these patients on the phone.
Okay.
They started figuring out, APA, these patients, that I was in cannabis because they Googled my name, saw the CRO,
Yes.
and said, oh, she works
Yep.
in,
Right.
because with the 501c3
Yeah.
status, you
Yep.
guys understand,
Yep,
you have
yep,
the same
yep,
thing.
yep.
Same thing.
So you're kind of
Yeah.
in the closet,
That's
but
right.
we're rebranding APA's website, and we're coming out of the closet very soon. Everybody knows we are anyway.
Right,
We're doing
right.
all these education.
Right.
But I want to be able to be noticed for that on my website, so if
Of
there's
course.
a patient elsewhere that doesn't know us,
Right.
that they know then that we help patients.
I love seeing this part of the industry get
Yes.
involved for the simple reason that when I think of like people that unfortunately still have to treat grassroots if they're dying of cancer because we
Right.
can't get it any other way
Right.
legally, but there are people that will help, and always remember that. And but those people, they'll go and back to their doctor, and then their doctor will go, I don't care what you're
Yeah,
doing,
I
just
hate
keep doing
that.
it. Now listen, I don't
Why do
mind
they-
it
I don't
that they're
like
telling
it.
him. I don't mind it that they're telling them to keep doing it. What makes me mad is they don't say, and I would like to talk to you in
Yeah,
private
they're
so
not
I can do
collecting
a
the
study,
data.
so I can help
so
other
wrong, don't
people,
you
or
think?
I can bring this
complete-
knowledge.
I
somewhere else.
completely agree. I'm smiling not because it's
No,
a
I
nice
know.
thing.
Right.
I'm smiling because that's what APA does.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a physician that I work with all the time. His name is Dr. Donner. You
Right.
guys may have seen a press release that had come out last year where that Compassionate Certification Centers and Affinity Biopartners are research partners.
Oh, okay, great.
So we're doing clinical research together.
Right.
So when I had these patients coming to me through APA, I have to have a physician.
Right, of
Right?
course.
A true,
Medical
medical
physician.
Yep.
That's
not
right.
some, no offense, quacky wacky.
Right.
That's like, oh, give me $500 and I'll
I'll
certify
take it.
you.
Right. I'll take a
Sorry,
3-hour
I don't mean
course.
to get
Yeah,
so
no,
upset, but
No,
this
I
makes
get
me
mad
upset.
at
I
too.
get
What do you-
upset too. Don't worry. You're lucky I'm not cursing already.
I do a segment called Pissed Off Pete.
Yes.
Please, I promise
Yes,
you.
so you get it. You know what I'm talking
We can delegate
Yes,
a segment for you.
I need to come on Pissed Off Pete because let me tell you, our guy Bruce Brady's not with us today because he censors us on our Coming Out with Cannabis YouTube channel.
Okay.
And all the time, like we get blipped and we're like, oh, Wayne and I, and usually it's me.
Right.
You know, I'm a Teamster's daughter. What do you expect?
Right.
You know, I didn't grow up
Listen,
white collar. I
right.
might be white collar today, but I know where I came from.
I'm a New Yorker, and the F word is like it's a noun. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
verb.
it is.
Sometimes it's an adjective.
My
It's
curse words
never
are part
meant
of my
anything.
vocabulary.
Right, it's just, it's not meant
It's
by
just
anything, right?
Our
It's your
CFO,
passion.
yeah, our
But-
CFO says
Look,
it's like your vocabulary.
It's your passion.
we try
That's
to
what
do
I.
the
It's
best.
your passion. I do. I try to know my audience. Try
Yes.
to do the best I can.
Right.
But sometimes shit's
Just
left
you
out.
just can't help it.
That segment
Because
I
you're
do
doing-
is the hardest one of them all to not swear in because I try to talk on something, but I
Yeah.
get so mad
Oh,
by the end
yeah.
of it,
Yeah,
and I'm
you see his
screaming.
veins
Yeah.
So it's
popping
very,
out and- yeah.
I get it. I understand.
I think
Like
we've
this-
had one
there's-
beep in that one because I'm not going to retake it. You don't have the passion. You know
no,
what I mean? It's
come on,
about the
no.
passion.
You're in the moment.
Amen.
Hey, it makes
So Dr. Donner agreed to join to help me from an advocacy standpoint. So
Awesome.
we started working like with CHOP, say, if we had a child that came, the parent came to us
Right.
and needed help and was working in traditional health care through Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Granted, they're doing studies in
Right.
cannabis, which is fantastic. They're not part of the Chapter 20 because in medical cannabis program in Pennsylvania, there's a research component. It's called Chapter 20. Penn is Penn
right,
University,
right.
and they're affiliated with CHOP.
Right.
So there's that like handshake thing,
Right,
you know?
right,
Yeah.
So we were asked, hey, can you help us? This patient came to us through Lankenau Hospital. They reached out to me directly, which was very strange, but that means I'm doing a good job.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean-
Because I take it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you need help. So here, Dr. Donner and I come in, we listen, we help the patients. If they need a medical card, Dr. Donner and his team will work on that. We'll help gather the records to make sure this goes smoothly. We'll make recommendations of products for the not giving medical advice, but
Right,
things that
right.
we've seen that have worked, whether
Right.
it's from research or even myself as a medical cannabis patient, card carrier now. So that's how we kind of try to bookend this problem, right?
Right.
Because it happens all the time where it's like, well, I don't really care what you're doing, just keep it to yourself. And it's like, but we're in a state, or there's what, 34 states now
Yeah, I know.
where
I mean, come
there's
on, you
medical
can
cannabis.
Enough
use
is enough,
cannabis,
man.
right.
I just
mean,
think
this is
enough is
nonsense.
enough. It is
Absolutely.
nonsense.
Listen,
It really is. Look. The
You
more
know when it stops is when we stop it. That's
That's-
when it finally
that's right.
stops, is when they do the same thing
That's
they
right.
did
So,
in
and
alcohol
with-
prohibition, when people just said, no, we're not going to stand
And
for
with
this
that
anymore.
being said, how do you feel about being made to be a card holder?
You know what? I don't really like it.
I don't either.
You know, because it's like I gotta worry
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, don't you think it's a violation of your HIPAA laws?
It is a violation. And the other thing I always have to worry about is I can still be arrested in
Right.
certain
Of
counties
course.
in
No,
Pennsylvania.
it's not a free. No,
And
it's
so
not a free ride.
I'm very nervous, and like I've actually testified on behalf of patients for decriminalization.
that's
I
what
was in
we
the
should do.
Lehigh
Yes.
Valley. We have a listening tour going on right now for the lieutenant governor for the recreational side. I went and testified and said, look, I don't care what you do from a rec standpoint,
right.
but from a medical standpoint, you better make sure I can get my products
That's right.
as a medical
I know,
patient.
but see, this is where the problem happens. We've noticed it in Oregon, we've seen it in Seattle,
right.
we've seen it in
San
now we're
Francisco,
seeing it in California. California was the most
the
predominant.
crops.
I don't care what anybody says about Colorado's money and this, that, and the other thing. California, since the 70s, has been giving cannabis to everyone.
Yeah.
That's right.
You didn't have to have a card.
right.
You had to be a patient, but they didn't care if you had a
Right.
card. Now
That's
they have
right.
their, after Prop 164, well, what Prop
Prop 64.
Prop 64 it's in. Now, I mean, you went from 99 plants to 6. What about the guy's been growing 99 plants
Right.
for 20 years?
What is he
Exactly.
You know what I
What
mean?
is he
You know what I
supposed
mean?
to
Now
do?
all of a sudden he's a criminal.
And there's like packaging requirements.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
costing
if
the
you
little
take
guys
that,
to
once
go out
you
of
put
business
that
now.
rec in there,
Yeah.
once we put that rec in there, and this
They
is what
raise the
happens.
bar.
What happens is this: they go, "We don't need a medical program.
Yeah.
Everybody can get it." Well, what does that do? That makes the poor sick person's insurance company say, "Well, they can just go buy it. Why do I got to
Right.
cover it?"
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
it's such a screwed up. I mean,
Which,
Lily.
which then it kind of dissipates the whole reason why we're trying to do research, folks.
Yes, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if you could just go out and buy whatever flower you want and take it.
If you could just grow it in your backyard for Christmas.
Yeah.
sake.
Like Larry says, make it like onions.
Onions,
Larry
that's
Sharp.
right. Well, make
He
it like
says
onions.
Make
It's-
it like onions.
He ran for governor.
And that's the way it should be. It's a shame that we are made to live this way.
Yeah,
You know, when the medical program came here first, we had a place locally in Newburgh that everybody who held a medical card went to one day a week. They were hoarded in like cattle. You know, and if you did go to see that doctor on another day, you certainly weren't there to talk about cannabis because you couldn't. I mean, come on. What is that? You know, I go to my doctor and I interview my doctor.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
tell my
absolutely.
doctor, yeah, I fill out their pamphlet, but when it comes to, you know, do you use recreational drugs? No. But I am an avid cannabis user.
Right.
As cannabis is it's a way of life
Right,
for me.
right.
Is it my medicine? Absolutely, but it's
Right.
also a way of life for me. So unless you can work with me, then we don't have a relationship. Now, I can, and I do, I use my doctor for testing. If they're going to be a part of my remedy, then I make that choice at that time.
Right.
But we discuss it.
Right.
But that's what we've lost
Right.
as a society. We don't do that. We put so much trust into our, oh, they said it, I got to do it.
I
mean, come on.
Doctors will respect that,
How
too.
are we not going to hold ourselves accountable when shit really goes wrong?
That's why we developed the Cannabot, because we're trying to empower the patient so that they can ask the Cannabot questions. So it runs through Alexa.
That's right.
It runs through Google Home.
Awesome.
We also have Skype. And the reason why we did Skype, and some people will say, well, then it's an app. No, it's an artificial intelligence bot.
Okay.
We purposely did Skype for the patients that will not have an Alexa, will not have a Google.
Okay.
Eventually, we'll create our own device technology
Right, whatever
that we
name
will
you give
give
it.
to the patients, because the patients don't pay for the subscription to the Cannabot.
Okay.
It's free, and it's in our contracts.
Oh, I like that.
With our subscribers, the subscribers you might ask, who are those? It's dispensaries, it's medical
Okay.
cannabis physicians, it's biotechs. Wait till I tell you about what this thing can do for biotech. It's amazing. Nonprofits like APA, nonprofit like yours, where you give access to the patients through the Cannabot, and they can ask any questions they want. What's a terpene?
Right,
What's
right,
THC? What's CBD?
Right.
What's cannabis? Where's the local closest dispensary to
Awesome.
me?
Because the education is what's missing.
Is-
Yes,
and
huge.
I have
And you
never
can't be
sold a
empowered.
CBD
No.
product without explaining the product to the fullest of my
Right.
ability. Always.
Right.
And because I don't think you're doing anybody.
You're not.
You're
Right.
giving, just doing an injustice if you don't. do it.
Even CBD companies can use this. You know why they can use it? Because here is a 24/7 bot that works with the patients all day, every day.
Right.
So if that patient puts the solve, say on a rash they have, and they say, oh, Cannabot, do you know why my rash went away? The Cannabot will come on and say, what have you been taking? When's the last time you took it? What are the milligrams? Bop, 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 bop.
Okay,
It feeds
cool.
the information
Awesome.
back,
Right,
and
and
then
it-
it'll say, oh, you took a solve on that. That's why, because the solve may be helping you with your eczema.
Right.
Wow.
And then that CBD company gets to see all the data. So there's
Right.
metric reports.
Awesome.
Right.
So you get to see all the questions that are being asked
Right.
by the patients.
Right.
We do
So
not
some good research being done.
exactly.
Right.
We're
Proper
going to
research.
Yes.
We're going to be running some how do I say it? Patient questions for Pennsylvania through the Cannabot.
Okay.
To ask these patients how they feel. It's been 1 year through the
Okay.
MMJ program. How's it working out? Do you like going to your
That's so-
dispensary? Have you had a positive experience? Have you liked the medicine you've been taking? What about the price points? Bop,
Right.
bop, bop, bop,
And
bop.
you're going to
That's
tweak
fantastic.
according to all of that.
And then
Yeah, you just
Wow.
enter that
Awesome.
data and do it. That's
Awesome.
And we're going to
fantastic.
write a white paper on it once we're done.
Great.
Because if we're talking in Pennsylvania about recreational, you better look at that medical cannabis program.
Right.
Because
Right.
my general practitioner that I go to, because you guys now know who my MMJ physician is,
Right.
it's Dr. Donner.
Donner,
Uh-huh.
right.
My general practitioner is part of the Chapter 20, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to say who.
Right,
'cause I
right,
don't
right. No,
want to.
that's right.
But it's disconnected, right? They're part of the Chapter 20 program, and here I go in there in November when I'm having all this leg pain before the fibro was diagnosed, and I say, look, I just got my card and I've started taking medical cannabis for my Hashimoto,
Right.
right? And it's been helping me. He looked at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're part of the Chapter
Right.
20 program. Your university is part of that. Why isn't there cross communication and education happening?
No,
So there's that problem.
Already dropping the ball.
Right?
All right, guys, listen, we're going to take
Jeez.
another quick break, then we're going to come back, wrap it up with Christine, and we'll be then having another guest come on, I think, sometime tonight.
We'll
have
see.
another segment.
It could
we
be
always
a
got something.
surprise.
Well, Lisa will put something
And
together.
never know.
All right, peace. Well, I'll see you all in a minute.
Chasing rabbits, and you know you're going to fall. Tell 'em I woke up smoking caterpillar grass. Oh, oh,
Welcome back, everybody. And I am going to give the floor to Christina, and she's going to tell us everything that we need to know and look forward to seeing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I have to thank you guys again. This has been a load of fun.
It has.
I'm
This
glad you're
is-
here.
This has been fantastic. So one of the things I wanted to mention was I'm so pleased that I am now part of the American Society of Cannabis Medicine. I'm on the board, which is really, really important because for us, we're trying to make sure that we get the right information out there. We're messaging the fact that there's more medical cannabis research that needs to be done. There needs to be standards, right? We can't continuously do things
That's right.
hokey pokey. People make claims. You saw all the 483s that happened by the FDA because of false claims 2 or 3 weeks ago. We'll be down with the FDA in May. I think it's important because we've been pharma biotech backed, you know, our entire careers. We have things that we can bring to the table to hopefully help put the proper standards in place as it relates to the FDA.
Excellent.
Because the FDA does need to regulate us.
Fingers crossed.
So we're hoping.
Well, they do because we keep calling it medicine.
Yes, right. I mean, we
Help it,
call
though.
it is medicine.
Right.
And so the thing is that we have to raise that bar
Yes.
as a professional. And so I'm so happy to be part of the American Society of Cannabis Medicine. We, you know, it was fantastic being in DC 3 weeks ago. And, you know, I got to talk about some of the patient populations I'm worried about, which we talked about earlier, which is pediatrics, the elderly, the veterans. But what's really near and dear to my heart is the blue-collar workers.
Yeah.
Because that's what this country was built on,
course.
Right.
was their backs.
Right.
Right.
And we forget about that.
And what
Right.
more claims do we have than their backs?
Right.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And so that's something that I'm always going to be worried about because that's how I grew up. I
Right.
married blue collar.
Right.
I didn't jump out now that I've been
Right.
successful in my career and I forgot where I came from. I can
Right.
drink beer out of a can. I could care
There
less.
you go. There
You know,
you go.
I'm just a
Good
regular
girl. Yeah, that's
person.
right.
That's good, right?
You know?
And people don't understand that. They
Right.
they think that just because we deal with this plant that we're different. That we're just
We're not.
We're not.
We're regular people.
Gosh, we're probably some of the best people
Exactly.
I've ever met.
Exactly.
I mean
there's,
that.
There's that mix, though,
Oh,
right?
no, there is.
There's
There's
the-
those green
is.
rush people,
There's
and then
the
there
green
are
rush.
the people that really care
And
about
then
this.
there's the people that want their labels, like
Yeah.
the king of cannabis,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
queen
God.
of
We
cannabis.
know some people.
Oh,
You know,
we
and
certainly do.
It's ridiculous. Unless you're Cheryl Schumann,
Yep.
we love Cheryl Schumann. She is the queen of cannabis.
Yes.
I'm not going to call
No,
her an OG,
Right.
because she's above that.
Please.
But she is the queen of cannabis.
That's
so
right.
anybody else that uses that title, it's ridiculous. We do not, in biotech and pharmaceuticals, call ourselves the queen of COPD, the queen of RA.
It's like somebody
rheumatoid
trying to rip
ridiculous.
Jack Harris' crown off.
Exactly.
It'll never
Nonsense.
happen. It's never going to
Nonsense.
happen.
Nonsense.
Exactly.
The other thing we're working on that I'm also very proud about, besides the City of Sisterly Love program in July is going to be a big month because July 13th is the event in Philadelphia that we're hosting. And then July 19th, I'll be in Barcelona, Spain, because I'm part of
Wow.
a production team
Fantastic.
for
Cool.
building out a global research and development word show and symposium.
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
Fantastic.
And I'm just so excited about this.
I'm so
because-
excited too. That's
I
awesome.
can't wait to see it.
I know.
Thank
Hey,
you.
listen, anything, including our Rolodex, you are dead.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
And vice versa.
Absolutely.
You know, the politicians
Yeah.
we're connected to,
Yes, yes.
all the
Same
people
thing.
that can help.
Well, it's so important that we do that. Like I said,
Right.
keeping up this momentum is extremely important.
Teamwork
for
is
this.
dreamwork,
Hey,
you
man,
know, like, it is-
we are in for the fight of our lives in
Right.
this industry, and
Right.
that's really the bottom line. We need to understand the importance of what we're doing and how important it is to network and meet the right
Right.
people to we need the right change.
Right.
No more crap. We've had enough.
We need to take what we know and build that foundation.
Yes. We need to really start living the changes we want to see.
Right. One of the
Period.
things we always say in our, in Affinity Bio Partners and Cannabot, AIHO, and Affinity Patient Advocacy is we always hashtag be the champion for change,
Right,
right?
right.
Because elsewhere you're not going to get anywhere.
That's right.
You have to champion.
That's right.
You know, and I'm lucky that I grew up with the dad I did, who constantly was championing change. He was part of one of the lobbyists that helped get the ERISA
Wow.
Act passed back in the day.
Wow, that's
Wow.
So this is,
fantastic, yeah.
this is how I grew up,
Wow.
and so it's a
So
shame.
you're a true warrior.
Right.
At birth, a true warrior.
Right, it came out like, and my dad always wanted me lobbying. And
Uh-huh.
I kept saying, Dad, in pharmaceuticals, you can't. When you're running research programs, you cannot, they
Yeah.
have their own lobbyists.
Right.
You have to stay out of it, right? Because then you're unduly influencing.
Yeah.
But now I can lobby, right? For medical cannabis.
right, correct.
For it becoming deschedulized.
Right.
So that when I do research studies, I'm not handcuffed.
That's
because right
correct.
now I'm handcuffed.
That's correct.
It's up.
Yeah.
We
all
it's a
are.
mess.
Right.
We all are.
We
Okay,
all are.
we're
Wow.
how could somebody get in touch with you? How could somebody reach you
Sure.
if
Yes,
they wanted
please.
to?
Sure.
Get, yeah.
Well, of course, we have all of our social media platforms. So we have Facebook for Affinity Bio Partners, Cannabot, AI Health Outcomes, Affinity Patient Advocacy. We have Instagram. We have a lot on Instagram constantly for all three of the companies. We have Twitter. I have LinkedIn. Each of the companies have LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I would say contact me on LinkedIn
Okay.
because that's the
That's
best way.
pretty much the
I
best
think-
business site,
And
I
that's-
think,
I
most
truly-
definitely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
when
What I'm
I
used
I
to.
was actually kind of shocked I didn't meet
appreciate
there
it
because
when-
I have my
Oh,
I
I
have
will
LinkedIn
link in with
also.
you then.
Yes,
There you go.
and but we met on Facebook. We met
Yes.
on the Women's Entrepreneur page, and that was there's a lot of great women.
Yes, it's fantastic.
it's a lot of great
I
women
dig
on
them
that.
all. I think they're all great. I mean, I don't mean it that way. You know that.
No,
I do.
no,
I-
no.
I
You're
have a
trying to
found respect
empower.
for these ladies.
Yes.
I do. I mean, they.
We have to work harder,
I said
stronger.
one
Hey,
day,
we're
one day,
doing
this,
it.
one day, and we have a good friend of ours, and she's breaking down the plant, and I'm just listening, going, damn. And I go, man, that is the sexiest talk I've ever heard in my life.
That's
you know?
awesome.
When we,
You know,
yeah,
like-
because we know
You know,
what
like,
we're
listen
talking
to this,
about, you
she's
know?
talking cannabinoids,
That's
man, and
right.
she's tearing it
That's
up.
right.
You know?
Music.
Yeah, it was.
It's music.
That's right.
It really, it was.
I mean,
beautiful.
pretty soon we'll
right.
be meditating to her talk when we need to calm down. There you
Absolutely,
go.
Absolutely. Well, Christina, thank you again
Yeah.
for
Oh,
being a
thank you
guest
so
on the
much.
show. Thank you for
It's been
taking
our
this
pleasure.
long ride. We
Oh,
know
it's
you had a long
no,
ride.
no, it was great. I
Good.
this was so much fun.
I'm so glad. I'm so
usually
glad.
at the end
We-
of the day, I'm tired, but today I was like, once we had our chat,
Prep
we
talk,
kind of
yeah,
talked,
yep.
you know, our
Our
prep
pep talk,
time.
yep.
It's just been
Everything's
fantastic.
good.
So thank you so much. I'm sorry
It's a
I've been moving
revolving
my
door.
hands
out
all
there.
around.
Just know that. You know it's a revolving door. You're welcome back. through
Oh,
the
thank
door
you so much. And
anytime.
I'm
Yes.
looking forward to doing things with you guys
Yes.
as well.
Fantastic.
Because we have aligned.
continue this,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and we will keep all of you out there posted as we go along.
That's right. Okay, guys, we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back.
Just keep going. You're doing a great job.
Welcome back, everybody. Wow, what a great segment that was.
Excellent, man. Listen, this week, again, like others, we hope you enjoyed our show. Hope you enjoyed our guests. We try to keep
Hope
it
you learned
interesting.
something.
Yeah, I hope you learned something, yeah. Or, you know, even if it's just how to be nice.
That's right.
Really, we don't care if that's all you've learned from
That's
watching
it.
the show today. But listen, guys, until next week, Helen, what do you think?
I think that we all need to just live the changes we wish to see in the world.
That's right. Next week when you come back, we'll continue to educate you. We'll continue to try to entertain
That's
you.
right.
And we'll teach you how to live a Canna lifestyle. Okay, everybody, till next week. Pete and Helen Yapel, we'll see you.